Hello everyone, I'm happy to be here again and thank you for joining me. Today's episode will reveal the giving hearts of our partners who spread love and life to the remotest locations. I do hope that by the time we're done, you'll be inspired to become an ambassador of love. So let's get right into it. After Jumai lost her aunt to drinking contaminated water, she lived in constant pain and fear until you stepped in.
Jumai works very hard to take care of her family. Like the other women in Sabongari, Jumai walks a long distance every day just to get water for domestic chores.
The water is red in color. It has an odor. We are sharing it with some cows there.
When her aunt got very sick and later died, Jumai suspected that her death was caused by the bad water. Jumai constantly lived in the fear of what the bad water could do to her, so she prayed and asked God to provide her village with clean water. When CBN heard about the bad water situation in Sabongari, CBN dug a well right in the center of her village. Jumai finally got answers to her desperate heart cry. She no longer has to live with the fear of death or trek long distances just to get water.
Pray for God to open more and more way for you to save others in other places.
What a beautiful beginning. You expressed love to Jumai by being there for her when nobody was. Now she can start a brand new chapter with hope. Thank you, dear partners. But that's not all. When CBN provided fresh water to Jumai's community, they also noticed that a good number of them suffered from various waterborne diseases. In a bid to provide answers to their failing health, CBN and its partners took a medical outreach to their community.
For the inhabitants of Sabongari, meaning New City, located in Nasarawa State, Nigeria, that name had finally taken on its real meaning. Unable to access clean drinking water for decades, the newly installed borewell had brought new life to the community. But that was just one part of the solution they needed. Many of the residents in this little village had to suffer through different kinds of pain and ailments because there was no medical facility in their community.
I cannot perform any task that requires me to bend my knees because they hurt so bad. I was given traditional herbs, but I did not feel any better. I find it difficult to sleep at night because of the pain.
I'm suffering from leg, eyes, and back pain. My body is usually hot. It feels like fire is burning all over.
The CBN medical team arrived at Sabongari with sufficient medical supplies to meet the needs of the expectant residents. The medical team swung into action, attending to the health needs of the people.
The motivation actually came purely out of compassion because we discovered that that community had some health challenges.
I feel so much joy as I have received drugs that will help me regain my health. I have been unable to farm for the past 5 years. I am so happy because the drugs were given for free.
At the end of the day, we were quite satisfied because the needs of the community were met.
Isn't it amazing to know that you're the reason for that smile? You are partners. You made that medical outreach possible. Thank you for bringing relief to the Sabongari community. After this short break, we'll be back with more uplifting stories. Do stay with us.
Life is a gift, and it offers us the privilege, opportunity, and responsibility to give something back as we become more. Many women, children, and families are suffering and in need, wondering where the next meal will come from. lend a helping hand today. Be the strength when others are weak. Be the smile where others frown. Be the joy when there is so much pain. Be more. Join the 700 Club. Lend a helping hand to someone today.
A train of love takes us to different parts of the world. Our next trip is to the eastern part of Nigeria, Abia State. This next story shows you how a people's need for medical help became a reality. Take a look.
It was like any other day, but for the people of Lokpanta in Abia State, something special was about to happen. A specialized team of doctors, surgeons, pharmacists, opticians, nurses and counselors had just arrived in their community to provide free medical services to the sick and helpless.
We're right here in the beautiful village of Lokpanta in Abia State, where CBN partners are expressing God's love toward people in need by providing free medical services. Right behind me are people of all ages and genders who have come from far and near just to partake of this timely intervention.
They showed up in their numbers, men, women and children, each with an expectation, and not even the elements could stop them. The volunteers, working with the local medical personnel, attended to the sick who came with various presentations.
Obioma, my heart is filled with joy for the drug the 700 Club has given me. I thank you and God bless you.
55-year-old Rosalind farms for a living. All of that changed when her health started to fail. When she heard about the CBN medical outreach in her community, she hurried there as fast as she could. CBN volunteer surgeons operated on Rosalind, and soon she was on her way to recovery.
My heart is filled with joy. I am very glad. God sent you to help us, to save us from our sufferings. May God bless you.
No one was left out of the free medical services. The community leader and his family also received the free medical treatment that the CBN team provided.
This is the first time our people are witnessing medical treatment here. So I'm very, very happy and I appreciate your coming.
Sunday, Rosalind and the chief are just 3 out of the hundreds of people who were touched with the love of Jesus reflected through the medical mission. For the volunteers, it was a priceless opportunity to be the extension of the hands of Jesus to a people in need.
I encourage whatever profession you belong to, go out there to rural areas, as we've just come to this rural area. It will amaze you to see the number of people who need your help.
There's nothing as fulfilling, as rewarding as touching lives. And I encourage professionals, healthcare professionals as well, to come, give it a try.
Although the medical mission lasted for only 5 days, they would be the 5 days that Lokpanta and neighboring communities will not forget in a long time.
In just one outreach, over 2,000 people got the free medical care they needed. Talk about making impact. Here at CBN Africa, we have committed to making a difference one life at a time, just like the girl in our next story.
Tabitha is one of the brightest students in her class, even though she only recently came back to school.
Our children had to quit school when we couldn't afford the school fees. I hurt my waist when I was farming and work became painful and difficult. I could barely feed my wife and 6 children.
Tabitha always seemed sick, and her parents feared the worst.
Her body became very hot. She would cough continuously and vomit very hard.
She seemed like she was so sick she could die, but we could not afford to take her to the hospital in the city.
I took her to the village doctor, but she stayed sick for more than a year. In my heart, I hope that one day God would send someone to help us.
That was when the family heard in church that CBN was holding a free medical clinic in their community.
I was very happy that God was answering my prayer.
Tabitha and her dad were amongst the first to show up at the clinic. The doctors treated Tabitha's infection with antibiotics and gave her multivitamins to fight her malnutrition. We treated her dad's waist too.
I have never seen this kind of love before. You showed true love to my family and me. I can now farm without pain and can provide for my family.
CBN gave Tabitha and her brothers and sisters everything they needed to go back to school, and we paid their school fees for an entire year.
I am grateful to God and to the people He used to help us.
I am so happy that my daughter is healthy and able to go to school. May God bless CBN abundantly.
I love happy endings. Imagine if you weren't there to give Tabitha a bounce back. Imagine if she had to drop out of school because of her health condition. That would have been a bright and promising future turned gloomy. Thank God for the arrival of the CBN medical team to her community. Thank you, dear partners, for your consistent giving that has helped to put smiles on people's faces and restore their laughter. We truly appreciate your gifts and encouragement. You can also be a part of this great team. With as low as 500 Naira or more monthly, you can become a partner, and that means you help to clothe the naked, give food to the hungry, provide shelter for the homeless, water to the thirsty, medical care to the sick, and so much more than I can mention. Become a partner today and join us in spreading love all over the world. Our next piece lets you into the world of one of our partners. Take a look.
I joined 700 Club so that I can be part of people that will love others. The first time I watched 700 Club, I was so touched when I saw village being visited. There's no borehole. They provided water for them to, and the children were so jubilating, celebrating. They are doing the best they can. So I decided to be a member of 700 Club, and my entire family will be a member of 700 Club.
Children danced for joy. You were there when the doctors came and saved their little boy. You were there to speak the truth, send the gospel near and far. You were there to change their lives right from where you are.
Thank you, CBN partners, for making a difference around the world. Your gift of love has changed life and eternity for millions.
When hurting hearts reach out and cry, does anybody care? You were the one who brought the gift. Thank God that you were there.
Welcome back. It does feel great to be able to give to projects to bring soccer and joy to countless lives. CBN is doing so much, not only in Nigeria, but also in other parts of the world, as our next story will show you. After that, we'll let you in on some of the comments from our Facebook page in our feedback segment.
Mrs. Du thought her son just had a bad winter cold, but she found out Shiwu had something far worse.
Shiwu's breathing was sounding strange, so we took him to the doctor and were told he was underdeveloped and were actually missing a part of his heart.
Doctors said Shiwu had 3 months to live at best.
Then I did some research and found out if my son got surgery, he could survive. So I started saving as much money as possible. I wouldn't even spend a quarter on water.
My mom bought food for my little brother, but she never ate much or got anything for herself.
I could go without. I'd rather save for surgery.
Mr. Du worked day and night to pay for medicine for Shiwu. And while it helped him live past the 3 months doctors had given him, he wasn't getting better.
He screamed so much that he got hernia. He often said to me, "Mom, I'm sick. Will you please take me to the doctor for surgery?" But we still couldn't afford it.
Then an earthquake hit the Du's village and destroyed their home, wiping out everything they diligently saved for Shiwu.
We had to live outside since it was cold and Shiwu's immune system was weak. He got really sick with high fever. We knew if it continued, this time my son would definitely die.
Before that could happen, CBN heard about the Du's. We made a visit to their village and shared the gospel. Mrs. Du prayed to become a Christian. We made a contribution to repair their house, and we provided free heart surgery for Shiwu.
My son is completely healthy now. You saved Shiwu's life, and you helped us with our home. I'm so relieved. From the bottom of my heart, I can never thank you enough.
My little brother is healed. I'm so happy. When I grow up, I want to be a CBN person because you help people. And now, I want to help people too.
Children danced for joy. You were there when the doctors came and saved their little boy. You were there to speak the truth, send the gospel near and far. You were there to change their lives right from where you are.
Thank you, CBN partners, for making a difference around the world. Your gift of love has changed life and eternity for millions.
When hurting hearts reach out and cry, does anybody care? You were the one who brought the gift. Thank God that you were there.
Thank you so much for being with us on the program. But we have to go now. One thing is sure though, we'll be back with more exciting episodes. But before then, make sure you visit and like our Facebook page. That's facebook.com/CBN You Were There. And don't forget to drop a comment. Goodbye and have a wonderful week.